Well, hello, Young Adult Edition. I am so excited. We've got a great episode for you today. We have author M Sullivan here. Her brand new book comes out in just a few months. I cannot wait to get started. If you are joining us right now, chat box is over to the right. Go ahead, let us know you're here, who you are, where you're from, why you're so excited for today's episode. And if you have questions at any point throughout the course of the show, there's a red question mark box. Go ahead and hit that for me as you are posting your comments so that we know what's a question and what is just a comment. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. Post them there. We're going to keep them monitored. Let's jump into our theme song and then we'll get started. Okay, well, thanks, guys. I'm so excited. We have author M Sullivan here. Her brand new book, Alice, comes out in just a few months. I cannot wait. JM, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing so well. I'm really excited because I read your synopsis earlier, and I'm kind of thrilled to pieces. I'm a huge fan of retellings, and I cannot wait to hear all about this. But before we get, started with everything, let's give everybody a minute to sign on. If you're just joining us right now, chat box is over to the right. Go ahead, let us know who you are, where you're from. I'm seeing we've got some people hanging out with us. Welcome to Amber. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Let us know what you are thinking throughout the course of this episode. You can drop any questions in that chat box. We will be having a live Q&A in just a little bit, and we are going to get started right now. So, tell me, we are going to be talking about your book today, and I want to know everything about it. So I'm actually going to pull up a timer because we have this amazing segment here on Young Adult Edition where you get 1 minute to tell me all about your book. So are you ready?
I think so.
Fantastic. I am pulling up my timer right now. And tell me everything I need to know about Alice right now.
Okay. Well, Alice is the first in the series of books that we are calling the Wonderland Chronicles. It is a YA dark fantasy retelling of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland with an undead spin. So it's definitely not your traditional Alice. So instead of the cute little fluffy little mome rath like in the Disney version where there's the little multicolors running around, the mome rath in the Wonderland Chronicles are definitely not like that. You can expect to see some of your favorite characters. My favorite is Chess, but there is also Dr. White, R. Abbott, Matthew Hatta, and of course the Red Queen, filled in with a cast of a couple of other entertaining supporting characters. It's definitely a twist with different things. Oh no! I'm out of time.
We did. Oh, good job there. Go ahead and finish.
It's definitely got a bunch of your familiar characters that you know and love, but in ways that you've never quite seen them before.
That is fantastic. I am so excited because I actually got a behind the scenes look at this story. And like I said, I love retellings. I love when we twist things on their head. And I love when it gets from Virgo. I'm so excited for your series. And I think your kitty cat is too.
Yes, although that buzzer she was not quite excited about, but she is one of
Sorry
my
about
biggest. So,
I actually tried to stop the buzzer before, and my phone wouldn't let me hit the button. Like, I kept hitting it. It wasn't going.
No.
Sorry, kitty.
No, she's pretty mellow. She's like, why are you bothering me? I'm sleeping.
That's so funny. I feel like she's just kind of queen of everything right there, which fits perfectly with Alice in Wonderland.
Definitely a princess.
Okay, so now that we know a little bit about your book, we are going to play a game. So do you have your confetti ready? Because all games around here involve confetti.
I do. I have to say I'm super excited about this because I got like little pink sparkly confetti. It made me really happy. So
I love sparkly and I love pink. I went with red confetti today because your book cover is black and red. So I kind of like that. Oh, my confetti didn't work so well. Oh well. I told you, I have issues with confetti sometimes. Okay, so we are going to play Would You Rather confetti style. So for those of you who frequent Young Adult Edition, we've got a couple of different games we rotate through, and it's always involving confetti. So we're going to give a couple of suggestions. Would you rather this or that? And JM is going to tell us which you would rather and toss the confetti with the appropriate hand. So your first option is going to be with which hand?
My left hand, because I am left-handed.
Fantastic. So if it's the first option, we're going with left hand. If it's the second option, we're going with right hand. So here is your first set of questions. Would you rather face a villain or face a virus?
A villain or a virus? My left hand. I don't know if you saw any of that, but it went everywhere. So, but I would absolutely rather face a villain because I feel like with a villain, you can at least kind of get the upper hand. With the virus, there's not much you can do unless you have a degree in I don't even know what the actual degree would be, but I don't have it. So
So then that's probably a wise choice. Okay, so here's our second would you rather. Would you rather team up with your enemy or face off against your friend?
Okay, my left hand again. I would rather team up with an enemy. First off, I don't do confrontation very well. I will admit that. I'm a big baby. And doing so with my friends would be even worse. So I would absolutely rather try and make a friend of an enemy than try and confront a friend. That would be very awkward and
sad. I agree. I feel like your logic is very sound here. Okay, so here we go. And I'm noticing we've got confetti all over you, which is fantastic. I love it. Here's our last one. Your cover is black and red. So would you rather have to wear the color black forever or the color red forever?
My poor right hand didn't get any of these. But black, obviously. I like the color black. I think that it can go very well, and you can accessorize. Like if I have a black shirt, I can wear red heels or yellow earrings, or I could have like a bright pink purse. With red, my accessories are much more limited.
I agree. See, this is why we're friends, because we agree on all of these things. This is fantastic. All right. So we are done with Would You Rather. Put your confetti down for now, but we will come back to that in just a little bit. Right now, I want to jump into our next segment, which is about your book. And I want to get really in-depth and talk about an exclusive piece of information all about Alice. So what do you have for us?
Well, when I was finishing my editing process, which was actually just a couple of months ago, I rewrote the entire ending of the book. At first, what had happened, and I don't even know if I should say this because it's got a really big spoiler, but originally what had happened in the book was Alice goes and she works so hard to get the cure, and she does not make it, and Dinah dies. And it was very sad and very heart-wrenching because Alice actually had to kill her, and it was touching. And then as I was doing my editing, I had this idea, and I remember messaging my editor and being like, so what would you think about me maybe changing the ending of the story? Because I was thinking maybe we could do this. And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, you have to do it. You have to try it. And so I sat at my computer and I pulled another all-nighter, like I felt like I was in college again. And I rewrote the whole ending of Alice, and it's really good. We all agreed it was a much better ending. Even though it wasn't maybe as heart-wrenching in certain aspects, there are other things that it has definitely made much more intriguing.
Well, I, for one, am definitely intrigued. I as we were going through the notes before we came on air, I read your synopsis and I read how you would change that, and I totally love the direction you went in with that. So good call, in my opinion. Now listen, we've been talking a lot about your book. I want to hear just a little bit about you and how things are going. So we always talk about the best thing that happened to us this week. What do you have for us that's kind of interesting about this week?
Well, for me, I got to, for writer me, I got to pass out some ARCs. So I have some of my friends and family and people who are on my launch team for Alice, because we're getting ready for it to release soon. And so the people on my launch team have gotten their ARCs. And so I'm getting to kind of see their feedback and see their reactions to some of the things that we've included and done with Alice. And there are some really kind of unique things that we've done as well. So it's really been kind of fun to see people kind of geek out over that, because I'm a big fan of geeking out over things anyway. So having other people geek out over Alice is like a dream come true. So that's been super cool. And then teacher real life me, because I don't write full time. I actually have a job, and I am a teacher full time. And where I teach, we went on spring break this week, so I have been binge watching Gilmore Girls for the last 2 days, neglecting my writing, which will probably catch up to me starting tomorrow because I have a draft for a Neverland retelling that I have set a deadline for myself to finish by the end of the month. So I've got like 4 days and I need to get on it.
That's so funny. Okay, so I think there's a couple things we need to go over here because that was a lot of information and I'm really excited about it. So first off, we have a Neverland retelling coming out. I know you can't give anything away, but when we get off air, you and I are discussing this because I'm really excited for this. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out before the rest of the stuff that we're pointing out is that you were hanging out with Gilmore Girls, which is one of my favorite shows. Now, have you gone through this entire show that we can like actively talk about it?
Well, I went through most of it, and then I kind of fell off the bandwagon because I don't remember what happened. I just remember not having enough time. So I'm guessing school or life. Something happened, and so I didn't get to finish. So I've been working really hard to like actually finish, and I think I'm on season 6 out of 7, so we're almost done, and I want to finish because I know The Year in the Life came out on Netflix, and I haven't been able to watch it yet because I didn't want to watch it out of order. So I'm trying to finish so I can watch the Netflix special.
Yes, and it totally would not have made sense if you hadn't watched it because they did some interesting things in this, reboot of it. So without ruining anything for anyone, because we could talk about Gilmore Girls all day, every day, I want to know, are you Team Dean, Team Jess, or Team Logan? And there is a correct answer.
Gosh, it just seems like as it progresses, like each one of them has so many, like a different quality that makes them really good for Rory in a certain way. Right now, and I haven't quite made it to the end yet, I'm kind of pulling for Team Logan. He is so dashing, and I actually think, I know he gets kind of a bad rap from Lorelai, but it seems like he really does, from where I'm at, want what's best for Rory at heart right now, and he seems to really kind of actually have a nice counterbalance for her, and I like that.
Hey, so in the chat box, let me know if you are Team Dean, Team Jess, or Team Logan. Personally, I am Team Jess all the way, so may have some issues here, honey. Let us know in the chat box what you think, and we will check back in with you in a little bit. So there's one more thing I wanted to talk about as far as your really cool stuff that was happening this week, and that is that you are on spring. Now, you and I were talking in the behind-the-scenes room about your school, about what you're doing. Can you tell me just a little bit about where you're broadcasting from today and how that came to be?
Yes, I am actually broadcasting from all the way over in the United Arab Emirates. I live in Abu Dhabi, and I teach middle school at middle school science, and I do, I guess my official title is an international teacher. And I started teaching a few years ago in Arizona, and I love teaching, and I love teaching middle school. It's just such a fun age group. I really enjoy working with them, and they're big enough that you can be kind of like sassy with them, and like they get it, but also like not big, like so big that they think you're weird, and they actually still kind of laugh at my jokes, which trust me is they can be touchy. So I appreciate that they get my humor. But so I started teaching middle school, and I was talking to a friend, and he told me that he was going to be taking his family over as an international teacher, and told me just kind of about the experience and some of the things that they offer. And I just thought it sounded really cool and like just this huge grand adventure. And so I brought the idea up to my husband, and he was super supportive, and I went on this like whirlwind year of trying to pull paperwork together, interviewing, getting all sorts of stuff. And then I was given the offer, and I packed up my family and we moved across the world. So I teach English and science to students in the UAE, and I love it.
I think that is so absolutely amazing. And I am so incredibly proud of you that you just packed up and you went and you taught across the world. I think that's fantastic of you and your family for jumping on board with that. So amazing.
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't be anywhere without my family. Like my husband is my number one supporter, and he keeps me sane. And I just, without him and my kids, I'd be a mess. So,
so shout out to them. We are doing kisses and confetti at the end of the show, but I think we just did a special bonus.
Yes.
I think that has earned some confetti. Let's throw some confetti for that.
Yes. Oh, I hope I didn't get confetti in my coffee. No, it's good. Coffee's safe.
That's amazing. I love that. Fun fact, I actually have my confetti in a coffee mug. So you're drinking coffee from your coffee mug. Mine's just confetti.
That's sneaky. I like that.
Right? I figured I have to have something pretty to put my confetti in, and I don't want to just like have it off to the side. So I do a unique mug. Sometimes it's usually blue, but today I've got white with gold polka dots. So I'm kind of excited for that. Okay. So let's talk. We've hit on your week. We've talked a little bit about your book, but now let's talk about you as a bookish person. So every single week on Young Adult Edition, we talk about people's biggest book nerd problem because we all have them. It's ridiculous. I don't know why we all have them, but we do. We all have at least one. So tell me, what is your biggest book nerd problem?
Well, my biggest book nerd problem has stemmed from the fact that I moved halfway across the world. I used to have this huge bookshelf, or two bookshelves actually, and they were filled with books, and I had this collection that I'd acquired these wonderful books. And unfortunately, when you pack up your family and move halfway across the world, it turns out you can't bring all your stuff. So most of my books I had to either donate to my local library or beg and plead to have my family babysit them for me. So I've got books kind of scattered all around Arizona right now. And I love reading paperback books. Like ebooks are cool, and I have my Kindle. I've got my phone that's got the reader on it, and so I absolutely have access to books. But like Rory says, there's nothing that compares to like an actual, like tangible, in hand book. Like you smell it, and the smelling the phone just makes you look weird. So my book problem is my library has dwindled rather drastically. And just because I'm not going to be here forever, I can't really see myself going out and spending money to buy these paperback books, because then I know my heart's just going to be broken again when I have to rehome them. So my book nerd problem is that my paperback collection is severely lacking.
Well, it's understandable when you move across the world, but one day you will come back and you will be able to have all your books again.
Very good.
Okay, so let's jump in and talk a little bit about Alice. So we heard everything we need to know about Alice in 1 minute, but I want to dive deep and really talk about this. So the first thing I want to know, because I need to know this, is how on earth did you come up with this concept?
Well, I love retellings. I've loved retellings since I was a little girl. And another one of my loves is scary movies. In fact, my husband and I, it's kind of one of our things. We watch scary movies together a lot. So I'm definitely a horror movie buff, and that, is vampires and zombies and monsters and all of those things. And I just remember one night I was laying in bed and I was reading a book, and I think it was like a zombie book or something. And I was thinking about it, and I realized, well, off with their heads, that would be perfect for the Red Queen, because she's always like, off with their heads, off with their heads. And everybody knows that you can only kill a zombie by chopping off their heads. And it was kind of crazy, because as soon as I got that idea, I started kind of thinking about it. And within 10 minutes, I had like this whole, like, just rough draft outline of, okay, I'm going to do Alice in Wonderland. This is what I could do. Oh, I could do this. I could do this. And so it wasn't like in depth or anything, but I definitely had a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that was enough to kind of start this crazy adventure with. So
that's amazing. Now, I know that you have a lot of really interesting characters, and I completely love how you handle their names. So talk to me a little bit about that, because you touched on it within your 1-minute summary of it, but I don't know if everybody caught it. So break down some of those amazing names for me.
Okay. When I started the retelling process, I knew that I wanted to be really true to Lewis Carroll's work. But I also wanted to do it in a way that it was not obviously exactly the same. And so I wanted to kind of put a spin on it. And I love puns, and I like to think that I'm clever. So I had a lot of fun playing with the names. And so Alice obviously didn't change. And I wanted to work in Dinah, but instead of her being the cat, I made Dinah Alice's sister. And then the main character, or not the main character, that's Alice, but her side ally is the Cheshire Cat. But of course, we didn't really want to do like Cheshire or anything. And I thought about Chester, and that just sounded kind of weird. And so I ended up just abbreviating it and calling him Chess. Which actually is going to work out really well with some of the other elements of the story, because especially in the next book with Through the Looking Glass, they have the chess pieces involved. And so I think we're going to have a lot of fun with chess in the next book. And then I had the other characters like Dr. Abbott, and he's the White Rabbit, so I made his name White, Dr. White R. Abbott. And then Matthew Hatta is the Mad Hatter. And I even was able to work in the March Hare by making her patient Zero. But I'm not going to give you that one yet. You have to actually read it. But even March makes an appearance.
That is fantastic. I love that so very much. Now, let's talk a little bit about her sister Dinah. I know that she plays a huge role in this, so give me a little bit of why she's so important and how it really plays into the overall story.
Well, it's really kind of the whole theme of the story, and it really bases on the relationship between Alice and Dinah, and how they just have such a close relationship, and they're sisters. And Dinah ends up getting sick, and so Alice has to go and save her. And it actually is a bit of a role reversal, because Alice is the younger sister, and Dinah has spent most of the years after the plague taking care of Alice. And so once Dinah gets sick, Alice her world really gets rocked, because instead of having Dinah there to take care of her, now she has to go out on her own and take care of her sister. And if she doesn't, she could lose her forever.
I love that. That is so amazing. So listen, guys, we have about 5 minutes left, so we actually need to move on to our Q&A. So if you are hanging out with us, if you are here live, hit up the chat box on the right side of the screen and let us know what questions you have for Diane all about Alice and the Wonderland Chronicles. And a second to get those questions in, we are going to take a minute and let you know about something really cool we have for you, because you know on Young Adult Edition, we love our freebie gifts. We love giving things out, and we love when you test out these books that you are hearing about to see if they are the right fit for you. So if you jump onto the chat box, if you're talking to us, great. Something's going to pop up on the side of the screen. I'm going to put it up right now. It is the first chapter of Alice. So you can take a look and see if that is going to be something that you absolutely want to get your hands on. Now, while I'm putting that up, tell us when we can expect to have that out.
Okay. Alice is available on May 16th. You will be able to order paperback or e-copy through Amazon online or Barnes & Noble online, Kobo, and I believe iTunes as well. And so you can order those. Actually, if you go online now to any of those sites, you can pre-order Alice. I believe right now the only one available is the ebook, but if you give it a week or so, the print copy should be up and running too. So you can pre-order, or you can wait until the debut date, May 16th.
Fantastic. And those links are in the end of this sample chapter, so you can take a look once you've read to the first chapter. So that is up on your screen now. Go ahead and grab that over on the right side of your screen. And if you're watching our rebroadcast, that link is going to be down in the show notes below, or if you are watching sometime during the course of this particular week, it will be up on our Facebook page under our header graphic. You can take a look and see where you can download that copy of the first chapter of Alice. So we're going to take a look at the chat box now and see what we have for questions. Okay, so we've got a good one, and this was going to be something I was going to ask too, so thank you for asking for me. We want to hear more about Chess. Who is he, and how does he really play into this, and what is his character like?
I love Chess. He is supposed to be the Cheshire Cat, and so of course he is snarky and he is sassy and he keeps Alice absolutely on her toes. More often than not, he drives her crazy. Preferably his use of nicknames are his main way of teasing her, and throughout the book he has a plethora of nicknames for Alice, and I don't believe he ever uses the same nickname twice, so that's a great source of fun for her. She loves it so much. But he also, because he is the Cheshire Cat, his disappearances and reappearances definitely play into the plot, and I wanted to make sure that was something that really was involved in the story, and so you can expect to see a lot of unpredictability from him and just a lot of fun.
That's fantastic, and we actually have a follow-up question for that. Can you name a couple of the nicknames he uses for Alice?
Yes, he calls her Sweet Pea. There's one point where he refers to her as Ali right after he calls her Butterfly. And he, let's see, gosh, there's so many of them. Sweet Pea, Ali, Butterfly, Princess. She hates Princess, and Blondie. I think there's a couple other ones that come off the top.
Okay, so Mary would like to know about the Queen. So we know that she is a huge character within the original story. Tell us a little bit about who she is in this story.
Well, the Queen is somebody that I would not personally want to mess with. She actually has a really interesting backstory, though, too. So, but the Queen, what she has done is she's a character who has amassed this huge following and has created this huge sector inside of Wonderland, and so she has her guards, her Queen's Guard, and her jokers that she has around her in her camp, Tulgey Wood, and so it's basically just this safe haven for her residents. But she's not as friendly as the people who live in Tulgey would make her out to be. And though she can be very concerned for her people, that's not always how she feels about everybody else.
Gotcha. That is fantastic. Okay, so one last question before we wrap this up. And Issa wants to know a little bit more about Matthew Hatta. So can you give us anything else about him and when we really get introduced to him within the story? Is it something that happens right away or something that's kind of a little bit later in the story?
Matthew Hatta, you see towards the end, he and Dr. Abbott worked very closely together in the past. It's addressed in the story, but again, not until later on. But he and Dr. Abbott have a very important history, and they are definitely a key point in the Momrak virus and the end of the world.
I feel like that is the perfect way to end this. This is amazing. We're going to cut it off right there because that was perfection. So before we go, couple of things we have to wrap up. We know that Alice comes out on May 16th. You can get your hands on that in May. Pre-order is up now. Links are at the back of that first chapter, or the Amazon link is. I put the Amazon link and the Goodread link. The rest of it you can find on her website, which is also in the end of that last chapter. And I'm sure you've got all those buy links up on your site there. So you can get more information by checking out J.M. Sullivan's site, which again is in the end of that first chapter, which you can grab on the right side of the screen or down in the show notes below if you're watching our rebroadcast. Now, before we go, we do something on our show every single episode called Kisses and Confetti. So if you are new to Young Adult Edition, we do this thing where we give shout outs to the people we love and the things we love. So kisses are for the things that we love this week, and confetti is for the people we love this week. So, Dan, tell me, what are your kisses for? So the things that you love.
Well, my kisses are for this week, definitely Gilmore Girls. They have kept me very distracted for the past couple of days. I also love my coffee. Without my coffee, I would not be nearly as functional or pleasant. And then I also love my yoga. So it is a really nice way to kind of relax and de-stress and stretch. And so those are all things that have kept me very centered and balanced this week. So it's been very nice.
Now tell me, who are your kisses for this week? No. Yes. Confetti. Confetti. I'm so off. The people that you love this week, who are they?
I just love everyone. Like, I love everyone. I know that sounds really generic and maybe a little offhanded, but no, I really do. Obviously, my family is huge in everything, and I've already talked about them, so I won't go into it again. But my publishing company, my pen name publishing, they are just absolutely incredible. They're just such a great group of people to work with. And then the other new authors in 2017 from Pen Name Publishing, they're just so supportive and wonderful. Amanda Gernitz Hansen is one of them, and she just rocks my world. The ladies, and K.M., you are one of them, in the Serendipity tour coming up that releases. And so you guys have been really fun to work with, and I'm really excited to get a chance to network with you. On Twitter, I love Twitter. If you aren't on Twitter, you should get one, and then you should follow me because I love Twitter, and I love everybody on Twitter, especially the people who do author confession with me. It's just been so fun to be able to network with you and get a chance to meet and greet other writers and see what they're working on and kind of how their brains work. And it's just been awesome. And then, of course, my readers and my friends and just everyone. Like, if I could just give everybody a hug, I would, because everybody rocks. Puppy well.
That's adorable. Throw your confetti. Oh, I love it. Now, before we go, I want you to let everybody know where they can follow you. So give me your social media links and then tell me real quick about Author Confessions.
Okay. Well, I'm on Twitter, obviously, because like I said, I just went Twitter crazy. And so my handle is @_JM_Sullivan. You can also find me on Instagram with the same handle. You'll get lots of pictures of my children, of my work, and of my cat. Her name is Ember, and she's a princess. Otherwise, you can find me on my blog, which is linked on the side. And I think that's really it. I have a Facebook author page. It's not really my strong suit, I'm not gonna lie. I love meeting people on there, and so if you only have a Facebook, please feel free to connect with me there. But I'm much more active on Twitter than probably anything else, and then my blog. So those are gonna be if you want to see me like a lot, because I'm pretty cool. Well, not really, but if you want to pretend like I'm cool and see me a lot, Twitter's the place to go.
Fantastic. Now, author confessions is something that you do. Tell us just a little bit about that before we go.
Okay. Author Confession is a game I started in January, and it is a month-long game where each day there's a different question, a confession question, that authors have to answer using their works in progress. So it can be something as silly as what's your character's favorite color, or it could be something like how do you represent diversity in your books. There's also questions about what we're reading, questions about authors, like the writers themselves personally. And it's just a really good way to network and meet other writers and just kind of find a really good support group and just see what's going on in the writing world. It's also branched out a little bit because it was so well received. I was kind of blown away, actually. And so there is an author confession on YouTube now as well. And you just go Google or YouTube author confession. It should show up because that's the channel. And what happens is I have guests, authors, and I interview them and they tell me about their work. And then I also feature pitches from authors. So if there are people who want to get their book out there or just have a practice pitching because maybe they're going to be querying soon or whatever, it's just another outlet or way for authors to meet and connect.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, so you can reach out to author J. M. Sullivan through all of her social media platforms, and you can check out Author Confessions over on social media and on YouTube. It's totally awesome. I know this because I totally did part of it. So that's coming soon. You will see that soon. Yeah, for our contest that we're working on together, we are doing the Serendipity Tour, which is coming up right around the corner. So make sure you check that out. J. M. Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Make sure that you stay tuned because we've got some amazing authors coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm so excited. We've got some amazing people and some really great books I think you guys are really going to like. And if you happen to love really great books, this is just one of those shameless self-promotion pitches right now. My book, Golden, comes out on Tuesday. We are doing a live broadcast launch party, and I hope you will join me. goldenparty.readingtransforms.com. We're going to be doing a lot of the stuff we do on Young Adult Edition, but so much more. We've got games, giveaways, party gifts. I'm giving away 9 different ebooks from some amazing authors. We've got a behind-the-scenes video where I actually show you how the cover for Golden was designed, like click for click, step for step, what we did to design the cover. I'm giving away secrets about the chapter headers within my book, which actually have hidden symbols and hidden pictures in them. We've got some really great authors coming on for guest spots, and we've got some amazing things we're doing that I have not even told you about. So I hope you'll join me. goldenparty.readingtransforms.com. Save your seat now. Space is limited, and you only get those party gifts if you are joining me live. So I hope to see you there, and then join us again next week for another amazing episode of Young Adults Edition. You guys have a fabulous day and stay inspired. Confetti for all.
I was confettiing for Golden. I'm very excited for Golden.
I'm so glad you're excited. Thank you.